Hi, welcome to our next digital conversation. This one's going to be around persuasive presentations. Crimson track, you're going to be writing a persuasive letter and you're going to be doing an oral persuasive presentation. Blue track, this is the information that'll be on the test for you. Persuasive presentations are done to convince and bring people to action. So you now have an idea, a concept, or a flash of brilliance that you want to sell in an organization or outside the organization, and it's your job to figure out how to make that happen. What you want to do is make sure that you're aware that human beings have been evolving for a very long period of time, and hopefully in your anthropology classes, your sociology classes, you saw that humans respond consistently to certain messages. So now you're standing in front of an audience or you're writing a report and your job is to have them listen to you. Why should we pay any attention to this person? What makes them interesting? What makes their message interesting? And a bunch of old dead guys in togas running around. The Greeks thought about it a great deal, and Aristotle said that really there's three primary drivers that cause humans to respond. One is they look at the evidence, the logos of the message. Is there logic attached to it? Is there some reason why I can intellectually accept that? The second is ethos, and that means, are you a credible source for the information? Should we be paying attention to you? And the third is pathos. And in those cases, the message meets some primary psychological need of the individual that if they accept what you have to say and take action, it's going to fulfill that need. Also, opinions are very, very prevalent in organizations. We can influence people by dealing with the opinions of thought leaders in the organization or in society. But remember, persuasion is about taking a stand, and it's something that you're passionate about. You got to believe it, and then you use your passion and your intellect to persuade and convince an audience that your idea has some value. The burden is 100% on you. It is not the audience's job to be persuaded. It's your job to persuade them. So let's peel this back a little bit more. How do you go about establishing logos or rationality? One is you can lay out an assertion, an idea, and then you provide evidence. Again, in the Crimson track, we're going to push you very hard to support every declaration that you make with research behind it, and the research has to be credible. So you have an assertion plus evidence. You have assertion plus evidence plus a source that is credible. That source can be inside the organization or outside the organization. And you can make an assertion and say, I have had firsthand experience with this. I've been in management now 40 years. I've seen this situation develop now 3 different times. We handled the situation in these ways, and this way seemed to be most effective. So if you have a legitimate experience base that works for you, again, as a student, you will make an assertion, you borrow authority from somebody who's viewed as an expert, and then you layer on solid research on top of that. That'll help you give the credibility so that people will be paying attention to you. As you're presenting evidence or ideas, McGuire laid out a very, very interesting theory, and it's always fascinated me. His argument is that if you present both sides of the argument fairly, you've now preconditioned the audience with their resistance because you've already told them why not to accept what you have to say. And then once you've laid out both sides of the audience, both sides of the position, you present to the audience why the side that's against your position may be flawed or may not be as persuasive as what you have to offer. So again, you think of it as a vaccine. I just had a shot in both arms. I was inoculated against pneumonia and inoculated against tetanus. So I had a small amount of the virus injected in me. My body's dealing with that, with my antibodies, and now I'm going forward healthy. So again, in making a presentation, you can follow that same strategy. So how is it that you gain credibility? You gain credibility through having a reputation of being honest, fair, and a person that operates with integrity. As we talked about in class, I have the privilege of doing senior leader development programs. And within the last 2 years, we've introduced a module on character to help people understand that they need to manage their character at the core. At the superficial level, you manage your reputation. At the core, you manage your character. That's your mental toughness, your grit to get things done. It's a clear set of values that you hold that you will not violate for money or position or fame. That you are competent, that you come across somebody that is knowledgeable and experienced. Again, coming out of university, you establish your competence by your ability to do very effective research and to present it in an incredibly thoughtful manner. You can establish your credibility or believability by your passion, your energy, your tone of voice, how you present information. Again, one of the really pluses of youth is you have a tremendous amount of enthusiasm. At my age, I have to rely more on experience and research. When you come in front of somebody, you exude an energy and a passion about the topic, and that is very, very infectious. You want to come across as objective. Yes, I have a point of view. My point of view has been developed by understanding carefully what the other side has to say. They're very, very good people. I just don't happen to agree with the way that they process this piece of information. And you can establish believability by rank in the organization. As you go up in an organization, you're going to gain more ability to influence. At the bottom, you're going to have to rely on some of these other factors. Professor Cialdini down in Arizona has become very internationally famous on his approach to how you persuade people. Again, this will save you reading all of his books. It starts out with you establish reciprocity. As a young man, my grandfather told me the way that you get things done is you do as many favors for other people as you possibly can to help make their life easier, and that gives you an IOU from them, and you put it in your pocket, and you never really have to take it out because they know they have to reciprocate because you treated them well, you did them a favor, you helped them out. You have to have commitment to what it is you're trying to accomplish, and your message has to be consistent. Day in and day out, people see you acting in a way that's aligned with what you're trying to persuade people to do. Social proof is just a big way of saying that it's the power of groupthink, it's the power of the pack. You can see social proof operating on playgrounds. You can see it through social media where all of a sudden everybody's lined up around something that may or may not be accurate. Likability. That one of the things you'll be taught when you take marketing and the sales part of it, people buy from people they like. So if you're low on the likability gene, you may want to take some happy drugs to make sure that you come across as somebody that people like. You need to project authority. Again, not arrogance, but authority. I am somebody you need to be paying attention to. I understand what's going on, and I'm offering you alternatives that are beneficial to you. And then scarcity, that all you have to do is watch late night TV. We have 500 more of these. If you call 800 by midnight, you will be the only people that will have access to this, and we'll ship it for free. So scarcity, again, I'm in the process of buying cars. I love to go in because they do all of these manipulation and persuasion tools, and you just sit there and smile. Oh, we got to sell you this one because it's the last one we're going to get in. And then you simply counter by saying, don't you have shipment and reciprocal agreements with other dealerships? Then all of a sudden scarcity goes away. So Cialdini is pretty good at that, helps us understand how that all operates. We need to establish an emotional connection to the topic. And in your other classes, HROB 101, I guess it's called now, in your management theories, you're exposed to Maslow. In your psychology classes, you're exposed to Maslow. So again, in your message, you want to connect to the people you're trying to persuade at one of those psychological levels. A very physical need, it could be an emotional need, it could be belonging to a group need. So your message has to connect there. Another very effective tool, you're going to be doing a lot of presentations in the College of Business. If you want your audience to come along with you on the journey to where you want them to go, get them involved. You can do quizzes with them, you can do Q&A, you can do any number of things, but make your audience part of your presentation, which will help a great deal. So sort of a checklist when you're doing presentation. There's also some take the time to organize tools. This slide says you have to have a clear reason to take action. You have to have a problem and solution is another way. You can do comparative advantages of your idea versus someone else. You can do a cause and effect, take this pill, this malady will go away. You can meet the person's individual criteria. I'm working on keeping my weight under control. So anything that you present to me that says this will help you with that, I'm all on board. And again, the motivational piece, get somebody's attention, establish what their needs are, present a way to satisfy the need that they're talking about, and then paint a visual image for them what they're going to look like. Professor Estenson, if you take this pill every day, think of the thin Brad Pitt. All right, I got that in my mind. I'm going to start taking the pills. And prepare and polish your presentation, both written and oral, and then do rewrites and practice. To kind of pull it all together, here's a checklist on persuasive presentations. You want to do an audience analysis so you know who you're talking to. You want to establish a very clear purpose. You want to work hard to establish your credibility. And we're going to talk about this in our nonverbal discussion. You really have a maximum of 30 seconds when you meet an audience to establish your credibility. So you have to light them up right away. You want to do your research to make sure you've got the facts in place, you're very comfortable with the facts, and then you want to organize your presentation with a clear beginning, middle, and end. So again, hopefully this is going to help you as you start to write persuasive letters and when you start to put together your persuasive oral presentation.